How the heck did they get this chapel to sit on them pillar columns like that? They excavated this whole site out in Brazil, and they're trying to say that they installed these pillar columns right here. Just look at all the dirt on these columns right here, okay? These were already here, and this chapel got built on top of an ancient temple. You see that yellow building in the back right there? That's sitting on top of another temple. All them pillar columns in the back of that, right? Those were already there. Just look how small this dude is, all right, compared to these pillar columns. That's all dirt from them excavating it out. This is from Noah's flood, okay? Tartaria is a psyop. Tartaria, if anything, is Tartarus from the Bible, Tar Nation, okay? It's hell, straight up. And these are your Greek pillar columns leading right into the underworld. This is all pagan temples that got flooded from Noah. So if God made a covenant with Noah in Genesis and then reminded again later in Isaiah 54:9, then how could all these mud floods worldwide possibly have happened if they were not Noah's flood? Here, Genesis 9:15. Remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. The water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. Right? This is from Noah's flood. The mud floods, all them floods, they reset the dates on everything. This is Noah's flood, okay? If your Bible doesn't look worn down like this, don't even try to debate me on this. Right again in Isaiah 54:9. For this is like the waters of Noah to me. The waters of Noah would no longer cover the earth, so I have sworn that I would not be angry with you nor rebuke you. The mud floods are Noah's flood. I've seen a couple little old world maps with Tartaria on it in Asia, but we got Tartarian buildings in New York, all right? The Native Americans came from Siberia. They're all Asian. They added 1,000 years all the way back to Nimrod and the flood. So this is Nimrod right here. He altered his DNA to become a Nephilim. This is the great-grandson of Noah, okay? Gopher wood is only found in Florida and Georgia. That puts Noah and his family in the United States of America. He is the first Freemason to build after the flood. That's why that Freemason marker right there is depicted next to him. They photoshopped this out in the original image. That's why I have it marked. So this is step one of the blueprints. They said that they poured these 54-meter pillar columns right here, and then that they dug it all out, constructed a platform on part two, and they did it all the way down. It's right here to finish all this off. The only thing is these pillar columns are already here in the ground. The only thing they put in were these horizontal platforms. I was in advanced architectural design. I designed my first set of blueprints when I was like 12 years old. My dad gave me his suitcase full of blueprints. These are faulty blueprints. There would not be any mud on these pillar columns right here if that's fresh concrete. There's no mud underneath any of these platforms. None of this mud would be here. Same thing like this. You see how this building has a solid wall on the right hand side, and in the back, that other building on the top right has the temple pillars right there, just like right here. These would have been flat walls if they built them originally. It would have matched this side of the site on the right. They're not. There's no pillar columns right here because this is a newer constructed building. These two buildings right here in the back, they just built on top of these temples. This is in the state capital of the United States. This bottom part of this 3D design is what's going to be buried up to like right here. Fill all this in and convert it into a Capitol building. And all these buildings are going to have catacombs underneath. These are ancient temples that were wide open halls. They added steps up to them and bricked in the pillar columns around it, and they converted them into your Capitol buildings, your banks, and so on and so forth. This is right in the state capitol. You could see they poured these steps up right here. Underneath behind them steps would have been that flat base that was there with no arcs in it or anything. These pillar columns right here on the inside of these buildings, they run all the way down. Just like this, and they create floors and tiers in them and fill them in and create a building. These pillar columns literally go down into catacombs. This is underneath a church leading down. Now these are Egyptian pillar columns right here. This is laid out the same way as the arcs underneath all your bridges, okay? All these pillar columns go back to the same civilization pre-flood. They were all Nephilim and fallen angels. Nimrod got his information when he spliced his DNA. Solomon got his when he was playing around with demons. And they showed him how to construct these pillar columns using alchemy and chemical formulas and permanent bonds. That's why these ancient pillar columns last so long. Now, these are the pillar columns in 7087. They filmed the movie Salt here with Angelina Jolie in it. My family poured every single one of these pillars for Local 190 in the Union, okay? They use different concrete nowadays. That's why these deteriorate and they have to go back and fix them. It's to keep people working and enslaved. They had the information how to pour permanent pillars and permanent bonds, so where we only constructed this one time and it would last forever. It was weather resistant. Samson right here, when he crashed out and destroyed the pillar columns, and then he ended up passing from it, but you get the point. This was all ancient art right here to the Nephilim. Alright, so all these buildings, alright, they're built by your fallen angels and Nephilim. This was all built and laid out like an electrical grid to harvest energy. This is all fallen angel technology. That's why the arcs on these doors were so big. That stained glass window right there was a second edition. This was a giant wide open arc that Nephilim used to walk through. No man today constructed this building. And that's not because they're not alive. It's because they have no idea to lay out these harmonic ratios. They don't even know the chemical formula of the concrete. These were literally built by the Freemasons and the Nephilim. That's why these arcs are so big right here. That's why there's the compass right there at the top. Right? This all harnessed energy from the ether. You can see right here on the side of this, that's water right there pouring out the side of this structure right here. They also harnessed water and electricity from water, whether it was through a canal system or salt water carrying an electric charge. I'm not even kidding. This is right from the military library. These are all Masonic halls, Nephilim halls, giant open arc temples. This is literally all fallen angel technology deployed into a building system to harvest energy. And they used masonry, which is why Nimrod and Solomon are both Freemasons, known to construct buildings. Just look at the size difference between these people right here. The same Nephilim built the pyramids in Mexico and Egypt. These are hieroglyphs right here, carvings. They're all the same tribe worldwide. They got wiped out from the flood, and then they came back post-flood when Nimrod tried splicing his DNA, and then when Solomon was trying to summon demons. Here's another one right here. They added these little steps right here. These little guys in here, these little humans right here, they were never allowed in here because they were that big.